Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Before you go and skip to the end to see the full tier list, and then see your waifu and trash tier, let me just get out a few disclaimers. I decided to make an extremely based and objective tier list on what I think is the best units in the game for the Abyss. This tier list is more about the Abyss and meta, and isn't taking things into consideration like personality or style or quality of life. I'm going to be basing these ranks on a few metrics to help me reduce my bias. Now obviously it is going to be biased, but I'm going to try my best and leave my biases out of it. I'll be ranking characters based on their versatility and how good they are in the Abyss at their specific roles. I'm making some exceptions though, more specifically for niche characters like Gouro and Faruzhan. I see a lot of tier lists put these characters at the bottom, even though they can be very powerful. So what I'm going to do instead is make a separate tier. It's going to be called the niche tier. It's its own separate category, and even though it's at the bottom, that doesn't mean these characters that are going to be in here are going to be at the bottom of the barrel. It's just how I'm organizing this tier list on the website. Again, it's its own separate category. Every 5-star character is going to be assumed at C0, and every 4-star character is going to be assumed at C6. I'm specifically doing it this way because I think it's a lot more fair. A lot of characters have groundbreaking constellations that come early, like C1 Bennett or C2 Beidou, that would otherwise make them a lot worse if they didn't have those constellations. Furthermore, most people should be able to get high constellations on 4-star characters with enough time. I will mostly be going in alphabetical order, and every single character will have a timestamp or chapter that you can skip back to. Also, the placement of these characters in the tier box will be a bit of an indication of how good they are in that specific tier. Apologies for the long intro, but it's something I'd have to do when making a video like this. With all these boring disclaimers out of the way, let's begin. Amber? Who? She doesn't really provide much. Her damage is minimal in comparison to other pyro characters. She gets better with constellations. You can detonate her Baron Bunny and things like that, but she's just not really good. Same thing with Aloy. You can't even get constellations for this character. There's nothing that she can really do great. Yeah, it's mainly just her lack of damage. It's like both of these characters were built for damage, and they're lacking in that. Okay, so next, Albedo. So Albedo, I consider Albedo to be the golden standard for A-tier characters. He's a very solid unit. He has good damage. He works in base virtually every single team comp because he can provide 125 EM with his passive. He's a staple in a lot of geo comps. He's just a very good character, and you can put like the Harbinger of Dawn on him. He's low investment, low thinking, good damage. Sucks against boss enemies, but other than that, he doesn't even get, I don't even think he gets in the way with elemental reactions with his E ability. So he's just overall just a very solid character. There's nothing great about him. There's nothing terrible about him. He's just a very solid A-tier character that you can put in pretty much any team. Okay, so next is Ayaka. Ayaka is S. She does a ludicrous amount of damage. Yeah, you can just freeze enemies, spec into a bunch of crit damage, and your ult will just hit like a truck. And there's a lot of various characters in team comps that you can play her in, but in any team comp, she just decimates enemies. She's very, very powerful. So next is Ayato, her brother. I think Ayato's for now is just gonna go an A, solid. He's like, when I just think about his damage, and I think about like Ayaka's damage, like Ayaka just pumps out so much more damage. Like his ult is very good, his E ability is very good. Like everything about him is good, but there's nothing specific about him that's like, great. Like he doesn't specialize in anything or that makes him like incredibly top tier. He can fit into a lot of team comps, and he can generate and do a lot of damage, and he can even fit into a lot of team comps. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will put him in S. I think I might actually put him in S, because he can fit into so many different team comps, do a lot of damage. His ult is really good. Barbruh, this might be the first controversial one that I put up on here. I'm gonna put Barbruh at A. I think she's good. I actually think that she's good. Now, I personally don't use her too often, but I like her bloom tech. I think she's. I like the Barbruh. I like the Barbruh bloom tech. It's good. I like it. Before Dendro, I'd say she's here, but I mean, she can provide healing. She can be an on-field. Like, she's not like. Don't get me wrong. She's not good, but I mean, she's definitely not on the same level as Aloy or Amber. That's for sure. I mean, she might go down to mid. Like, Bloom is the main reason why she's here, especially if you don't have Kokomi. Beidou. I'm gonna say Beidou is probably a high A or low S. She does a lot of damage, but I feel like oftentimes she's very underrated because Fischl exists. She has a place in Hyper Bloom team comps actually because her burst doesn't proc the Hyper Blooms, so you can build your other Electro character or whatever to be full EM and then just have her do a lot of damage. Her C1 provides her shielding, and she provides damage reduction, which is really powerful. Her E can hit pretty hard if you actually use it properly. That being said, I think she is kind of dependent on having another Electro character like Fischl. In fact, she's pretty much, I feel like she's always paired with Fischl. Bennett's probably here, I think. Nah, who am I kidding? What am I saying? Are you kidding me? You're gonna put Ben down here? No. You're not gonna do that. I don't think this really comes as a surprise to anyone. His C6 does, lower the amount of team comps he can be in. Like, he can't be paired with, like, Eula and Keqing. But, like, other than that, his C6 isn't like too detrimental or anything like that. He has insane healing. He can be played as a DPS. He can buff your attackers. He's basically the best support for Xiangling, who's like another really strong character in the game. He can help like snapshot, various abilities and things like that. Like, there's really not much bad things that you can say. He can basically do everything, and he can do everything pretty well. He's a good buffer, he's a good healer, he can be a decent damage dealer. He's just good, and he's in a lot of team comps, he's basically a necessity. He's solid. I like Ben. Okay, anyways. Candace. Fit in your mouth. I think she's... is she the same level as... I'm just gonna put her in mid. I don't know. I think she's maybe like low B. There's just, I don't know like any team comps where I've been like, yeah, I think Candace would be good. I know she has one of the highest charged attack multipliers, and you can play her like Hydra Hu Tao, but like realistically, yeah, I don't know. There's nothing really much to say about her because she doesn't really excel at anything, in my opinion. Next is Chongyun. He's going to be probably the first niche character that I talk about. I think Chongyun is extremely powerful in his very niche cases. Mainly, more specifically, when paired with Shenhe. But his C2 is good. He provides attack speed. He can reduce cryo resistance. His burst does a good chunk of damage. You can play... In fact, the first OG national team is using Chongyun. And even like with DPS Bennett, if you don't have him C6, he can be useful. Yeah, he's a good overall character, but mainly a case specifically with Kaeya. He's not really used much. He's pretty niche, but in his niches, I think he's actually a pretty potent option, especially when you pair him with Shenhe or something like that. Collei, I'm gonna put him. I don't think she's good. I don't like she's not solid. I don't think she's. You get her for free, I guess, but the radius of her ult feels abysmal, and her E feels wonky to hit. I don't know, like, it's just like, why would you use Collei over, like, now Yao Yao or Dendro Traveler or Nahida, or, like, basically, like, any other Dendro. I feel like all the other Dendro characters that will probably be released and that are currently released are, like, better than her. That being said, she's not C tier because I don't think that her kit is that bad, and Dendro is just really that powerful. Okay, next is Cyno. Cyno is probably A. Really, yeah, we'll put him like right here. I don't know. He's somewhere here. He's not a bad damage dealer. He isn't amazing, but he's far from bad. I don't know. He's just like a solid DPS unit. He's just a solid DPS unit that you can rely on to clear the abyss. I guess it's just his damage numbers. I don't know. His damage numbers are not like astounding, but they definitely are not bad by any means. Like he will definitely help you clear the abyss. Same thing with Diluc. Diluc, I feel like he's really underrated. I think people just think that Diluc is a bad DPS because you need to invest a lot into him to make him work. But he's a good DPS. Like, you can clear the abyss with Diluc. He's not a bad DPS whatsoever. He's very solid. Now, is he as good as like some other, damage dealers or anything like that? No, maybe not. But like his damage, I feel like his damage is respectable enough to consider him a solid unit. Diona, I mean, especially C6 Diona. Oh man, you know what? This might be another hot take, but I think Diona's S. Like, she can shield you. She provides 200 EM at C6 basically. She has a good shield. She has decent cryo application. She has decent healing. She can. I think she can even reduce the stamina consumption cost, and she can also increase your movement speed. She's also a good user for Sac Bow and Favonius Bow because of how her E works. She's very easy to build. She's a good user for Noblesse set. She works in a lot of team comps. Basically like any cryo team comp, I think you can make use of her. Maybe even in fridge comps. Yeah, I think she's just a really, really good support. I think she's one of the best 4-star supports in the game. Oh man, I'm kind of thinking now, maybe I should put Beidou in S. I don't know. I might change things once I get to the end of this. Dori, I don't even think this is a need for discussion. I don't think she's as bad as Aloy, but basically the problem with Dori is that she's a battery, but in order for her to function as a battery, you need to battery her. Yeah, too bad she wasn't like a physical DPS character or something like that, because her auto attack animation is really cool. But yeah, it's unfortunate. She's a cool character, cool design, but it's just not good. Eula, I feel like she has a pretty good synergy with basically any electro character. Her kit is good. She has built-in physical resistance reduction, I believe. Her burst does a lot of damage, but that's like the issue. It's like she's so reliant on her burst critting. Like, if you don't crit your Eula burst, that's a massive amount of your damage gone. Or that's actually basically like all your damage. Her auto attacks, they do, and her E ability, they definitely do a considerable amount of damage, but like the majority of your damage is going to be coming from your burst, and if you don't crit that, then it's like really, really bad. Faruzhan C6, probably the best niche character so far. I guess there's only these two, but she's incredible for Zhao, and for Scaramouche, and probably any future Anemo DPS characters. Heizou as well. So her C6 is really powerful. She doesn't have very many energy problems at C6 either. And she just provides a lot of value for an Anemo character. Like, she reduces Anemo resistance. She provides an Anemo damage buff. Her damage itself is actually not too bad either. And specifically for Zhao as well, she can help act as a battery, which is like a double bonus, and that's like her, biggest use case scenario as well. Fischl is definitely S. She's definitely better than Diona. I think she's more valuable than having an Ayato. I'm gonna say, yeah, she's actually more valuable than Ayaka in my opinion. I think she's like S, maybe even at God? No, I don't know, we'll see. But, I guess, like, in comparison to Bennett, like, all she does is damage. Well, no, she does, okay, so she does damage, and she also has very good particle generation. And she has consistent, oh man, and with her C6, okay, maybe she is actually God. She actually does do a lot of things. But yeah, actually, yeah, now that I think about it, I mean, she's a staple in Aggravate team comps. Really good in Taser team comps. Yeah, it's okay in Hybrid Bloom team comps. There's better options. But yeah, she just does a lot of damage over time. Her biggest flaw is the fact that it's mainly just single target. But while it's also a flaw, it's also an advantage because she does a lot of damage against single target. She's one of the best Electro auras in the game. You can even actually with C1 Fischl, I forgot. You can actually play physical DPS Fischl. Yeah, she's just a really, really powerful character. I mean, I don't know. Maybe is she on the same level as Bennett though? Ganyu's probably S. I don't know who does more damage than Ganyu. I don't know who does more damage, Ayaka or Ganyu. I know that it's like a debate that's ongoing between the two simps of the community, which one does more damage. It doesn't really matter. They both clear the abyss extremely fast. They both do a ton of damage. However, Ganyu has the plus side of being able to work and function as a support because of how her ult works. And because she has also quadratic scaling on her ult as well. Both of them are really powerful. I hate both of their playstyles, unfortunately. And they're very easy to play as well. I think they're mobile, player friendly. Gouro, I mean, is Gouro better than Faruzhan in what he does? I feel like they're on like the same level. Gouro is extremely powerful in geocomps, especially at C6. Basically, if you don't know, Gouro at C6, he provides crit damage. He also provides, just his base kit provides a lot of geo damage. He provides a geo damage buff, but I mean, he's just very, very, very powerful for geocomps. He increases the damage of Albedo, Noelle, and Itto quite substantially, and I would say that running Itto or Noelle is kind of like, if you don't use Gouro, it's like Gouro is the Bennett. I think actually no, Gouro is better than Bennett for geocomps. Like he's a better, like he's Geo Bennett, like basically. It provides crit damage bonus. I mean, yeah, he's just very good. I cannot praise Gouro enough. If you use Itto and Noelle, like I would almost say it like it's mandatory. He's just that good. Heizou is, oh man, I think my bias is gonna start to show here, but I think a lot of people might put him in mid, but I'm gonna put him in A, especially with Faruzhan. I think he can work better, more effectively as a hyper carry. You can, because of VV, he can work as a driver. Now he's not as good as Sucrose by any means, but he can basically fulfill the same role. I've cleared several abysses with Heizou. He's just a very powerful, like his E can hit really hard, especially at C6 either. Like I don't think he's on the same level as like Candace, for example. I think you'll find, if you have Heizou, you'll definitely find uses and can make use of him in a variety of team comps. Yeah. He's also just really fun, but we're not judging that. Hu Tao, oh man, probably here, probably above. Is he? I don't know if she's. I don't know. We're just gonna put her. Oh wait, you know what? No, because this is C0 Hu Tao, huh? This is not C1 Hu Tao. I'm gonna put C0 Hu Tao here. I think she's just barely. I think she's like S minus, like C0, because without C1 you can't Ungamunga. And without the Ungamunga, her damage goes down. But regardless, her damage is really good. It's kind of, I mean, it's best against single targets. It's kind of trash against, multiple enemies. But I mean, either way, like her burst does a lot of damage. In fact, I think it's one of the highest damaging ults in the game. Yeah, and especially with double Hydro being team comps with Yelan released, she's gotten even more powerful. You can do her with double Geo as well, or you can just run she has like a various amount of team comps. Her damage is really high. The fact that she kind of lacks the AoE damage, and she's she can be a very stamina hungry character at C0. And I have like a whole thing, I have a whole video I'm going to be preparing on, you know, how good C1, how good is C1 Hu Tao, is it worth it, that kind of thing. Because I have a lot to say on it, because I have very strong opinions on it. But yeah, she's a very good DPS. She's a very good DPS even at C0. Okay, next is Itto. This one also might be kind of biased. I think a lot of people would put him in mid, but I think it probably is on the same level as like Eula in terms of DPS output. Like his DPS, especially when you invest into him, is really high. Granted, I have a Serpent Spine on my Itto, and my Gouro is C6, so obviously and also I have a Zhongli, but I think everyone has a Zhongli. Yeah, he does a lot of damage, especially when his Ushi does a ton of damage. It hits like 120k. Oh, you know what? And I also have C2 Itto, I forgot. Yeah. So I guess my perception of him is probably skewed a little bit, but like he's like, regardless, I know for a fact that his damage is very high. It's just that he can't make use of any elemental reactions. So same thing with Eula. I mean, I guess, you know, super contact, but like because they can't make use of elemental reactions, their damage can never be an S. I don't think they can ever be an Ayaka or Ganyu or Hu Tao or anything like that. But they're definitely really good. And also, I guess the other thing too is like Itto has I feel like he has such a big dependence on Gouro. Granted, Gouro is basically in all of his banners, and they're very free to play friendly as well. Like both of these characters are very free to play friendly, but they can't really match up to the characters up here. Jean, oh man, I don't even know where, but I think Jean's probably here. I think I don't know, I feel like there's just other Anemo units that are better than her. I mean, you can run Sunfire Jean on her. Actually, Jean can actually, like, output some decent amount of damage, even if you spec into full healing. Like, her E and her ult have, like, pretty decent multipliers, but I feel like that's all she kind of really does. Like, she's VV and she heals, which is nice. That's great. That's fantastic. And she does a decent amount of damage. But, like, in comparison to, like, someone like Sucrose or, like, Venti, like, I feel like they just kind of provide a lot more. She's solid, and especially, like, really good with Zhao, in my opinion. I use her with Zhao all the time. But, you know, again, she's quite solid. Kaeya, another really underrated 4-star. Kaeya is just really good, and especially at C6, he's really, really good. He can be played as a cryo support in like a freeze or melt comp, or you can play him as a main DPS. I've done both. They're both pretty good. They both do his ultimate ability actually does a decent amount of damage. His ult is low energy. Yeah, I think he just has a lot of small things that make his character like an overall good kit, and his cryo application is good. Yeah, he's just like overall he's a solid character. He's a solid character, and I think a lot of people throw shade at him just because he's like a starter character. But honestly, especially with Dendro release, I feel like a lot of the starter characters have gotten better. You know, Barbruh, case in point. Next is Kazuha. I think we all know where this is going. Man, I don't know. I mean, like, Bennett and Kazuha, like, is Fischl really on the same level as Bennett and Kazuha? Like, I don't know. I don't think she is. I'm gonna put her back down here, for now. But Kazuha, where do I even begin? Where do I even begin to describe how good this character is? So, I mean, I guess let's just start out with the obvious. So he has Weirdness at Vernier, which is really good. He has good application of it. His ult does a decent amount of damage. His E does a decent amount of damage. His swirls also will deal a decent amount of damage, just because you want to invest a lot of EM into him. Yeah, so he has good damage. He can provide VV. What else can he do? He can basically be any other elements in the game, which is really powerful because of how his ult works, and because his ult is so big. Like, Sucrose can do the same thing, Venti can do the same thing, but it's not really as good as Kazuha's. Like, for instance, in like a freeze team, like, he can have higher uptime on hydro application and cryo application in a bigger radius, on top of providing all these benefits. So he can basically be any element in the game. He has VV, what else? Good damage, elemental, oh yeah, that's right, of course. Elemental damage bonus, he provides a large amount of elemental damage bonus. Is that it? I feel like I said a lot. There's probably more to him that makes him even great. Keqing, I think, is another underrated character. I'm just gonna put her next to Cyno. I don't even know. She A+. I don't know. She does a decent amount of damage, but I haven't invested too much into her. I mean, all my Keqing can do is fight slimes. I don't know where she is. I'm just gonna put her here for now. She has excellent synergy with Fischl and Aggravate teams. She has really good uptime on Elemental Infusion. She gets free crit rate after her ult, which is basically up all the time because it's only a 40 burst energy cost, and her ult does a lot of damage. I don't know, I mean, she's just a very solid DPS. Like, that's all there is really to it. She's just a very solid DPS. Yeah. Klee. Oh man, okay. Let's probably put her in B. Klee, I don't know. She's just lackluster. I guess this is kind of like a similar issue with Hu Tao's. Like, I feel like her playstyle is like one of the biggest reasons why people don't play her, which is a shame because she is cute, but like I feel like her playstyle, similar to Hu Tao, like, because of how it functions, makes her a worse character. And it's like, why would I play Klee over like Diluc or Hu Tao? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's all I can really say about her. It's not much. It's just disappointing to talk about, honestly. Kokomi. I think this one's probably gonna be pretty controversial as well. I don't think a lot of people are gonna agree with this, but in my opinion, I think Kokomi is probably S. I don't even know where in S. Maybe like here. I think she's better than Diona, just because I think Hydro's better than Cryo. But yeah, she has in the same way that Zhongli can make you immortal via shields, like, Kokomi can make you immortal through healing. And because she's a Hydro dealer, or a Hydro character, she can provide a lot of Hydro on the field consistently. I think you can even use her as a driver because she's a Catalyst user. You can make use of TTOD, she can make use of Tenacity of Militith really well. Yeah, she's a solid character. And even more so with Bloom too. She actually got buffed because Bloom now exists. Kuki. Actually, okay, so this one might be a little bit of a controversial take, but because here's the thing. I'll get to Toma as well, but Toma is like the best character in my opinion for Virgin. Kuki Shinobu is like the best character for Hyper Bloom, and I don't really know, like, if she's really good outside of that. Like, I mean, she like Aggravate, Superconduct, Team Comps. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I know she is the, like, without a doubt in my mind, she's the best Hyper Bloom character, and that's why I'm thinking like she might just be in the niche but good category. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I've seen enough team comps outside of Hyper Bloom. Because I mean, that's where she's strongest. Let me think about this for a second. Because if she's not, I mean, she's either a niche but good or S. Because here's the thing, pre Dendro she was here. Pre-Dendro she was here, but after Dendro she became so much better, and that's what I'm thinking. It's like, before Dendro released, she was complete garbage, but now she like has a lot of uses, but it's like those uses are only within Dendro team comps. Okay, just to be consistent with like how I view things, and from my perspective, she might be S, but if she can work extremely well outside of Hyperbloom teams, then she is probably S. But for now, I'm just gonna keep her in niche but good, because in my mind, she's the best Hyperbloom character there is. But like outside of that, I don't think I would use her. Anyways, next character, Layla. I think she's just mid. Her cryo application is decent. Her shield is good. I don't know. I still kind of stand by the point of like, why would I use Layla when I can just use Rosaria or Diona? Her constellations increase her damage. 5 sword, I guess. I don't know. There's just nothing really too special about her. Like, there's nothing that I can like point to and specifically say like anything that she can do. I can name a character that can do it better. Like better shielding, probably Zhongli. Better cryo application, like Kaeya or Rosaria. Better if you want a cryo character that also shields, Diona. And Diona heals and provides EM and provides all this other stuff. Yeah, I don't know. She's, I don't know. Kind of like her personality, she's lackluster. Anyways, Lisa. I actually think Lisa's really good, especially with Dendro release. Dare I say better than Kaeya. She provides defense shred, which is the strongest stat in the game for increasing just raw DPS. She's an Electro Catalyst user. I believe you can use her in aggravate teams. You can do her in a triple EM team, Hyperbloom. Even the thing is even before Dendro released, she was actually used in team comps because defense shred is just that good. And oh my god, I forgot. Like especially C6 Lisa, like so the thing about her E ability is that it actually has one of the highest multipliers in the game for a damaging ability, at 3 stacks. Because what her C6 does, it enables her to, well, first off, you get increased interruption, and then you also, anytime that she goes onto the field, you immediately get 3 stacks, which boasts her damage to the absolute maximum with her E ability. Now, it's a little bit clunky to use, but if you do get it off, it is going to be a lot of damage. And you can build her triple EM. You can build her as like a main DPS probably. You can do her as a support with TTOD. Yeah, I mean she does good. Yeah, she's just a very solid character. Like she's just really solid. And she's hot. Okay, anyways, Mona. Mona probably in the same area as like Lisa in my opinion. She has decent hydro application. Her burst does or can do a lot of damage just on its own. It can do a lot of damage. She provides like 55% like damage bonus with her ult, which is obviously really good. She can use TTOD. She can use Tenacity of Miltith. I feel like she's just kind of like an offensive, perhaps a more offensive version of Kokomi. Like Kokomi is like more defensive, where like Mona does the same things but can be a more offensive option. Yeah, she's just a good character. She's a good character. Yeah, she's not amazing in my opinion, but she's definitely not bad at all. Nahida. This might be a little bit of a I don't know if people consider her to be as good as I think she is. I made a whole video about Nahida. She's really, really good. She is the best Dendro character in the game, and she will probably remain the best Dendro character in the game for the foreseeable future. You can put TTOD on her. You can put EM weapon on her, like Mappa Mayor or whatever. You can play her as an on-field driver. You can play her off-field. She gives EM buffs to the team. Her ult is basically virtually impossible to miss, so those benefits are going to be up all the time. She's extreme. She is the most free-to-play friendly character in the game, like without a doubt in my mind. You can leave her at level 1 with a level 1 talent, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that she's a really good Dendro player, she's the best Dendro player, and she's cute, and she deserves to be in God. Okay, anyways, Nilou. Oh yeah, actually no, this is easy. Whoops. Okay, so Nilou. Yeah, I mean, she's just niche but good. I mean, like, the thing is like, her team, me personally, I hate how they designed Nilou. I hate the fact that you're so restrained in the team comps that you can use her. Like, you have to use her in this specific way, in this specific team comp, or else she doesn't really function. And I hate that about her. But that's not what this tier is about. I'm just ranting. She's the best for Bloom comps. She is like, if you want to deal a high amount of damage with Bloom, like, she is your go-to character. She is the best character for Bloom comps. Similar to how Kuki Shinobu is the best character for Hybrid Bloom comps. Yeah, she's just a good character. Like, she's a very good but niche character for Bloom comps. That's all I really have to say about her. Ningguang is... Oh, but C6 Ningguang. C6 Ningguang. Oh man, this might also be controversial. I feel like a lot of people would probably put her in the same tier as Klee, but I actually think C6 Ningguang is quite respectable. She can function as either a support or a DPS at C6. At C6, she can deal out some decent amount of damage. Otherwise, she can be a really good support, especially for like DPS Noelle, because her C2 makes it so that you can generate geoparticles in a very short amount of time, and it also does like a decent amount of like damage as well, and it also provides a geo damage bonus buff, now that I think about it. I mean, it can block projectiles too, I think, which is like nice, but like no one really cares about that. Yeah, and you can put TTOD on her if you do use her as a support. Actually, it's probably best to use her as Favonius. I mean, yeah, you can either play her as just like a raw support, or as like a burst support, or as like a main DPS. And I think she can function fairly okay in all those roles, which is kind of why I think she's just like solid. I don't think she's like amazing, I think she's just solid. Noelle, oh man, we still got so many characters to go. This is reaching the 1 hour mark, I'm sorry. I just have a lot of opinions and a lot of things to say about these characters. So Noelle can deal a decent amount of damage. Not as much as Itto, but again, you know, she does have a little bit of reliance on Gouro in that regard. She can shield, and she can also heal, which is really, really nice. And all of her constellations are actually pretty good as well. But her DPS is not crazy. You have to be on field to heal her. Her shield, I actually don't know how strong her shield is, but the main issue with Noelle is the fact that her E ability doesn't generate any particles for her, which is really, really bad. That's a really, really big downside. So she has a very heavily reliance on the team comps that she's in, and that's kind of why she's ranked much lower than Itto. Chi-Chi, oh man. I think, I know Aloy is probably the worst character in the game, but Chi-Chi is terrible. There are so many bad things to say about Chi-Chi. Where do I even begin? The main issue with Chi-Chi is her burst cost is 80, but her E ability doesn't generate any particles. And on top of the fact that her E ability doesn't generate any particles, it's on a 30-second cooldown. And on top of that, it's not only on a 30-second cooldown, but it only has 15 seconds of uptime. So you only have 15 seconds up on her E ability. Like, she can't even have like good uptime on Tenacity of the Militeth because of how her E works. It's just like, oh man, it's just like, I don't know. And my conspiracy is that they specifically made her trash so that you like lose, so that you like, because like, here's the thing: Keqing, Diluc, Mona, probably Tynari, I'm gonna put up later. I think they're all like A tier, right? They're all A tier. They're all like, they're not amazing characters, but you know, they're definitely not terrible. by any means. Chi-Chi is the only one there that just completely sucks. Anyways, sorry. Okay, Raiden. I don't think this was gonna surprise anyone. Where do I even begin? Oh man, here's the and again, this is what I'm talking about for god tier characters. It's like there's like so many good things to say about them. Like it's insane. So you can use the R5 catch on her, which makes her kind of free to play friendly. I don't know, I feel like you can use her in basically every single team comp for electro reactions. You can use her in Super Contact. In fact, she is actually the best character to pair with Eula. So you can do her in Super Contact, you can do her in Hyper Bloom. She's actually fairly strong in Hyper Bloom team comps. The strongest, or arguably the strongest team comp in the game, the Raiden National Team, has her on it, obviously. She can generate energy for her entire team. She can deal a lot of damage. She can apply Electro pretty constantly off field. She's just very good. She's just very good at being a battery for the team. She's a very good Electro applier. She can be used in virtually any single team comp, similar to Albedo. I don't know, but she's just very good and very good with a lot of different characters. Razor. Oof. Well, see, okay, so CS6 Razor actually does have Defense Shred built into his kit. I mean, here's the thing, as a physical DPS, he's like here, but the Thundering Fury, he's not like a bad character. He's just not amazing. That's all. That's all I really have to say about him. Rosaria. Is she S? I feel like she's like on the same level as like Lisa, Kaeya, this kind of area. Maybe higher, I don't know. Like her burst does a considerable amount of damage. You can put Noblesse Oblige on her. Favonius Lance, catch, and deal a large amount of damage. You can use her in melt comps, which can be pretty powerful. Let me think. Oh yeah, and I think maybe burning comps, or is that with Ganyu? I forget, but I know there's a burning comp that you use with Ganyu. I just forget if you use Rosaria as well. She's really good. She's really good. She provides crit to your team. She can deal a decent amount of damage. She has good cryo application, although albeit her burst is a little small. Her E ability is up often enough to help generate cryo particles. Yeah, and she's, you know, goth vampire mommy. So, okay, anyways, still mad about the nerfs that she got. Scaramouche, where is he? I don't really know. I'm just gonna put him here. Like, he has good damage. It's not the best damage. I don't think it's as good as Zhao's damage, for example, but it's good damage. He can work in a variety of team comps. His kit is overall quite solid. I don't think you can go wrong with using him. I think he does probably require a lot of investment, and he's, you know, if you want to play him as a hyper carry, then yeah, I mean, he's just a solid, and he gets like a free 20% crit rate. He gets free attack. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, the main reason why he's only solid and he's not S is A, his damage output, and B, his reliance on shields. Like, he's very, very vulnerable without a shielder, and so that's kind of, you know, why. He's not quite as high, I think. Kujosaro is gonna be in the niche tier. Niche but good. Especially at C6, I believe at C6 she provides 40% crit damage bonus to electro damage. But like even in comparison to like Gouro, like I feel like Gouro provides so much more. I feel like Gouro provides so much more, like in comparison to like what Kujosaro does. And like Electro, the thing is like Geo and Anemo, like here's the thing, Faruzhan and Gouro, they buff Geo and Anemo, hyper carries. Geo and Anemo, they don't really make use, at least for hyper carries, they don't make use of elemental reactions. So it works in their favor that these characters work like this. But for Electro, you do want elemental reactions. Electro has a lot of powerful elemental reactions. In Kujosaro, feel like, especially even with Hyper Bloom, she's not terrible by any means, you know. But, you know, if you are looking to do like a mono electro comp, then she's like a staple. She's like a necessary. Sayu... I feel like a lot of people think Sayu is mid. This is a hot take. I think Sayu is solid. I think she's solid. Look, let me cook, okay? Let me cook, okay? Like, there's not really much that Sayu can do that Jean can do that Sayu can't. Like, they both basically do the same thing. I guess Jean has like Jean is just like overall better. She can provide VV and a much larger radius, which I value, and also her healing numbers aren't too bad, especially at C6. She's a little bit more flexible on how you can scale her. Yeah, I mean, her damage isn't insane, her healing isn't like ludicrous by any means, but like I feel like she's just like solid. Like, she's not, I don't think she's mid. I know this is like, I know people want me to put her in mid, but I think she's solid. I genuinely, like, because of like like how big her coverage is with her ultimate ability, I think she's solid. Anyways, Shenna also goes in the niche tier. Really good. She's basically like Cryo Bennett. But yeah, it's a little bit worse because there's like, I think there's only so many like cryo damage. It's like, I think it's like it caps out at a certain amount of like cryo damage. I don't even know how to explain it. Cryo damage ticks. Yeah, so she's good. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you won't use her often, but she's good with Chongyun, and she's just strong in general in the team comps that you want to use her in, especially in like mono cryo team comps. She's very powerful. I think she's like a solid niche character. That's what I think about her. I don't think like I would consider like these like S tier niche characters, and these are kind of like A tier niche characters. So Sucrose might actually, is she S or is she God? I think Sucrose, especially mainly at C6, is God tier because she can do a lot of what Kazuha can do, just slightly worse. She can provide EM buffs, which is really powerful, especially in this Dendro meta. She can provide VV. Her swirl damage isn't going to be too bad because you want to invest a lot of EM into her because of how her kit works. You can use her as an on-field driver. She's in fact the best on-field Anemo driver, better than Scaramouche or Heizou. Really good in Taser team comps. You can generate a ton of Anemo particles thanks to her C1, especially if you have sacrificial fragments on her. She's really good for battering characters like Zhao at C1. Let me think, what else? Oh yeah, her C4 actually also helps her as a driver. Like, all of her constellations are really good. And her C6 provides elemental damage bonus, I believe 20%, which is, again, like, really good. And similar to Kazuha, she can be any element in the game. It's just not quite as good and not quite as big. Like, she's just a really good character. Really good character, especially at C6. Very strong. Tartaglia. Oh man, this is my favorite character in the entire game. Where am I getting put him? Oh my god. I wonder. No, really though. Yeah. I mean, I guess he's probably on the same level as Ayato, right? I mean, no, I think he's worse than he's better than Ayato. He's better than Ayato specifically because here's the thing: Ayato doesn't have anything that he specifically does really well, but Child does. Child, probably only second to Venti, is the best character in the game for dealing a massive amount of damage to multiple smaller, weaker enemies. It's really powerful. In the same vein that like Hu Tao is extremely powerful against single target, Child is really good against multiple enemies. He's super fun, super satisfying, but oh man, sorry, trying to keep my biases out of it and trying to keep playstyle out of it, but he's really good. he can be, there's definitely a learning curve with him in how you have to play him like optimally and stuff. His national team variant is very powerful, very powerful. His burst does a ton of damage. You can play I've actually tested this. You can play Tartaglia. You can play him in basically every single team comp available to Hydro. Yeah, he's a really good character. He's a really good character. Toma I'm gonna put like here. In the same kind of logic that I have, that Kuki is like the best character for Hyper Bloom. Nilou is the best character for just Bloom. Thoma is the best character for Burgeon, in my opinion. I don't think there really is any other character better than Thoma, especially C6 Thoma for Burgeon. Now, there are other uses for him, like for instance, like in a Scaramouche team comp, or like with Hu Tao, but you don't really see that or use that as often as you would say like a Burgeon team comp. Yeah, and also his C4 reduces his energy needs, making it so that you can use Dragon's Bane or a Keaton Spear or whatever and have your Burgeons do even more damage. And because of how Burgeon works, like him just having a shield as well, like that goes a long way, absorbs some of that self damage. Yeah, he's just a really, really good Burgeoner character. He's just really good. The one who cannot be named. Where should he go? I think from what I've seen and from the damage numbers that I've seen and how you play him and stuff like that, he's pretty solid. Like his playstyle is unique, like as a quick swap, but like the damage he can deal out, it's kind of nice. Like it's kind of nice. Or that's what he does best, is like just raw, quick and easy damage. And also like it's not even difficult to get off that damage because the charged attack animation is sped up. Venti. Oh, yes. Venti. Okay, so obviously Viridescent and Veneer, but similar to Child, he can decimate a lot of... He's the best character in the game if you want to kill multiple weaker enemies very quickly. His ult does a ton of damage in those circumstances. And just Viridescent Veneer is just really, really strong, and he has pretty much constant uptime on it because his E is low cooldown. Yeah, he's a really solid character. Does a good amount of damage. Has a lot of good free-to-play weapon options. He scales with energy recharge, so energy isn't really something that you need to worry about too much on him. Yeah, he can make use of elegy at the end. Like, yeah, he's a really good... He's a very good character. He's just a very, very poggers character. Xiongling. Oh, man. This is probably going to be my most controversial one. Oh, how I've been waiting for this one. Oh, yes. Okay, so I'm going to put Xiongling in S. Now, I know a lot of people want her in God and think that she's God tier. Let me explain to you why Xiongling is not God tier character, okay? All this character does is damage. She does a lot of damage. She does a lot of off-field damage, but that's, at the end of the day, that's all she really does. Now, I mean, I guess, she can make use of, like, the R5 catch, and, like, basically most of the meta best team comps use Xiongling, but, I hate this character. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I hate this character. I think this character is garbage. I hate her. I hate that. And every single team comp you have to use her. I hate her playstyle. I think she's boring. I think her aesthetics are terrible. She's an annoying character. No one likes her. And the only reason why people use her is because she's an OP meta character. And I refuse to put her in God tier because I hate this character. Anyways. Yeah, I am biased. I am biased. Yeah, she's gonna be an S. Okay, job. Where is he? Probably S. No, actually, A. Where'd he go? I lost him again. Oh, there he is. Yeah, actually, I would put him, like, right here. Especially with Faruzhan released, he does a lot of damage. And I mean a lot of damage. He does, in an AoE, which is, like, a very big positive. His E does a lot of damage. He has some energy problems. I mean, he has, like, the thing is, like, similar to Itto's reliance on Gouro, Xiao has a reliance on, like, two things. First off, you need a shielder or healer on him because his health degenerates in the Abyss. And then second off, and the second thing is he needs an Anemo character. You have to have another Anemo character. Yeah, so that's basically, like, why he's not, like, S, I guess, is because he has a very big dependence and reliance on, and also, like, his damage numbers, because he doesn't make use of elemental reactions, his damage numbers will never be as high as Hu Tao's or Ayaka's or Ganyu's either, or Child, or whatever. Like the total DPS will be lower. But he's a very good character. He's a very good character, very solid character, and he's a reliable character. That's what I really like about Itto and Zhao specifically, is like I feel like they're reliable. Xingqiu, is he no, he's probably S, or sorry, God. By the way, the God tier characters, I don't think, like, just because Bennett is here and Xingqiu is here, specifically for the God tier, I don't think like one is better than the other. He's very good. He's okay, man, what? Again, it's like, where do I even begin? Like, how good this character is. So his ult does a pretty decent amount of damage. Like, his burst has high uptime. Okay, so he also provides defensive utility because he provides damage reduction and healing, or a minor amount, but still noticeable for sure. Like C6 more enables like noblesse and like giving him like Jade Cutter, for example. Like, you can really like pump up the damage. He can basically be played in every single Hydro comp. Yeah, I mean, he's just a good character. He's a good character. Get Xingqiu. Get him. He's good. Oh man, this character. Oh my god, I don't even want to talk. Xian Yan. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, okay, so she has split scaling. She has defense. She has split scaling. She is a physical character that is of the pyro element. So like in comparison to like Eula or Razor, she can't really make use of Super Con deck that well because she's a pyro character. And then like her shield strength is also not too good. She's just a mess. She's just a mess. And none of her constellations make her like substantially better either, except for maybe her C2, but I don't know. And her C1, actually. I think Yae Miko is probably solid. Especially more specifically with Dendro release, you can fit her in Aggravate, Hyper Bloom team comps. You just have to spam her E ability, and she'll deal a lot of damage. And it's really easy to scale her damage. Yeah, she applies Electro pretty well. She does good damage. You can fit her in a lot of team comps. She's overall just a solid character. Yeah. Yanfei. I think this character is underrated. I think she's better than Klee. Her damage is decent. She can, at C4, she unlocks a new playstyle. That being Ting Fei. Mainly you use that with like Hu Tao. Yeah, I mean, all of her constellations help her do a ton more damage as well. But yeah, I mean, she's just like I think she's like a solid character. I think she's an A-, but I think she's better than Klee. Like, if you want a catalyst user that deals pyro damage, I would go with Yanfei. And she's hot, so or at least her voice acting is. Okay, Japanese. Yelan is gonna be a god. God tier, like, the way that I think about it is basically Xingqiu and Yelan. I feel like you could kind of swap them out one for one. And here's the thing. So Yelan applies Hydro slower, but she does more damage. Your overall team's DPS will be higher with Yelan than with Xingqiu, depending on the team comp. Like, I think with Eula or with Hu Tao, it might be a little bit finicky, but basically the way that I think about it is that Xingqiu is the more defensive option, while Yelan is the more offensive option. But they basically both do the same thing, which is like a lot of damage and constant Hydro application. And her E ability especially does, a considerable amount of damage. Yoimiya. I think a lot of people probably think that she's just mid, but in my opinion, she is... Where'd she go? I don't know, she's like probably somewhere here. I don't know, somewhere here. I think her damage is... She does a good amount of damage. I think you can do her doubled Hydro. I think she's one of the only pyro characters that can really make use of like Overload, as like, with like Beidou and in that team comp. You can use her with Yunjin. So there's actually like kind of a wider variety of different team comps that you can play Yoimiya as. Is she as good as someone like Hu Tao? I don't think so, but I think she's far from bad. I think she's a really, really solid DPS character. Yunjin, again, niche but good. Mainly for hyper auto attackers, and like I said, mainly for Yoimiya. Can play her with like Scaramouche or Ayato, but I mean, mostly with Yoimiya. I think in Double Geo, more specifically, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, all of her constellations are like okay, or like yeah, like because like the thing is like she's competing with VV, and like VV is like really powerful. Zhongli. This character will basically make you immortal, except against corrosion. In fact, my theory is that they literally added corrosion in the game to nerf Zhongli. That's my theory. I think that's what they did, because this guy's just so powerful. He can easily provide tenacity of the Militith buffs. You can basically put any weapon on. In fact, my Zhongli only has he has like a level 20 Favonius Lance on him, and his ult still does like 50k. It's actually ridiculous. His shield reduces resistances to all elements by 20%. He's actually really good for Zhao and Itto, or just like those hyper carries, that like Anemo and Geo hyper carries. So yeah, his burst can do a decent amount of damage, and it can keep enemies in place, which can be kind of nice, especially if you're like using Zhao. Having the enemies like stand still for a moment or two can be kind of nice, because you'll just end up pushing them back a lot of the time. Yeah, basically he just grants immortality and 20% resistance shred and tenacity of the Militith. Oh yeah, and he also generates geoparticles over time as well. That's like another added bonus. Dendro, okay, so actually, oh, he was the last one. Okay, well, okay, so here's the thing. So Alhaitham, Yae, okay, so by the way, these two are just whatever. Alhaitham and Yae, I don't feel comfortable with ranking them yet, because they're still in the progress of being tested, and I haven't seen or read or heard enough information about them to rank them, so I'm just not going to rank them. For Traveler, so we'll just go through the orders. So Anemo Traveler is mid. VV is always going to be good. In fact, I would say that any Anemo character that ever comes out is always going to be above B tier or above, just because Viridis and Veneer is just that strong. He actually does a decent amount of damage, but I hate the way that his ult works. GOMC is probably like A tier. Like, I think it can provide a decent amount. The GOMC can actually deal a decent amount of damage. I don't know if they fixed this yet, because I haven't played it in a while, but like how I remember is like enemies got like stuck like on top of both his E ability and his ultimate ability. Like the rock shards, they would get stuck. And you literally, like, you couldn't damage them because of that. So that's kind of why he's here. But he can be a good Geo battery. All of his constellations are pretty good, especially the first one, which I think grants increased crit. And then his Electro is garbage. His Electro is like probably like, I don't think it's as good as Amber. His Electro it's not good. It mainly, like, here's the thing. It actually does very good. Like, he actually does, like, the Electro MC does do really good in terms of like energy generation, but it does virtually no damage. So that's kind of why it just kind of sucks a lot. Dendro MC is maybe S, maybe? I feel like he's probably the second best Dendro character in the game that we currently have for, applying Dendro. Not including like Yae or any of these characters, because again, I need more info on them. But yeah, for now, I think he's actually like really good. The way that his ult works just makes him a very solid Dendro player. Maybe he's only A. Yeah, I mean, I think actually Beidou's S. I'm gonna put Beidou in S. It's been bugging me for a while now. And then Dendro MC is like maybe mid tier A. I don't know. Just really good. Like the damage. Okay, so now that I've made the tier list for the most part, I'm gonna go ahead and make some adjustments, because as I said, where they are on the tier list, or where they are in a specific tier, actually kind of matters. So for example, except for God tier is the only exception. So for example, if Fischl is here and Beidou's here, that means Beidou's S- and Fischl's S+. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some amendments and see like what I want to change. Actually, I think the first one I'm gonna change is gonna be Razor, because now that I think about it, like his physical damage is it's okay. His Thundering Fury, it's not bad, but like at the end of the day, I feel like if I wanted to clear the Abyss, like his main, I feel like he's supposed to do a lot of damage or help do a lot of damage, I guess. And I feel like there's just so many other units in A tier that I would rather choose. Kind of similar to Klee, actually. I'm gonna put Collei here. Yeah, okay, that looks good. For the niche tier, okay. Let me see here. For the A tier. Let me see. I think Keqing and Cyno should go up here. This is all good. Oh, Yoimiya needs to be put way up. I'm gonna put her here. I'm gonna put Yoimiya here. Eula. I guess Albedo is the only one that I can consider an A+ support. In that case, because all of these are DPS characters. Oh no, Dendro MC is like, I think he's A+. I think this is pretty much where I want to be for A tier. So this is gonna be the A tier, and then for S tier, probably do this. Yeah, that looks good. Yep. Okay. I think that's basically everything. Yep. Yeah, so, I mean, I guess this is the tier list. Hold on, I'll go ahead and zoom out a little bit. So you can see the full thing in all its glory. Yeah. In the end, I think I ended up taking into account more factors than I initially said. Because initially I said I would only take into account, like, versatility and how good they are in their specific roles, but I ended up taking things into account like weapon options and resin efficiency, which definitely I think skewed some of their placements. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with a lot of the characters' placements. I think that's it. If you went ahead and skipped to the end just to see this part, please go back to the beginning and make sure that you listen to all my disclaimers. And if you did skip to the end as well, and you're curious about a specific character, why I put them in a specific tier, then go ahead and skip back to the video and see what I said about them. Let me know what you guys think about this tier list, Abyss-wise at least. Again, keep in mind, this is all my personal opinion. Think that I'm pretty satisfied with it. I don't think there's really much I would change about it. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Who would you put where? Where do you disagree? Where do you agree with me? How fair do you think this is? Let me shove all your opinions in the comment section. I want to know. I want to know. Bring on the heat. I don't mind. Just no personal attacks, please. Keep it civil. Yeah, so anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did watch all the way through this video, I applaud you. Thank you very much. Consider subbing and liking to see more content from me. I'll probably do another one when 4.0 comes around and the Hydra Archon release happens. So yeah, remember to take care and have an excellent day.